It's Sunday, June 18th, and we're tracking a tropical wave moving across the Atlantic that could become the next named storm of the hurricane season this week. I'm meteorologist Hannah Gard with Fox 8 New Orleans. This tropical wave is expected to continue on its westward path, and at some point within this red area, it could become a tropical depression or a tropical storm. This week was the hottest the Gulf of Mexico has ever been on record. We've been tracking temperature readings across the Gulf in the upper 80s, even some 90s throughout the summer. Over the past week, the average of all of the temperatures in the Gulf surpassed 88 degrees for the first time on record. The light red line on this chart is the 1991 to 2020 average temperature line. This reading for 2023 is 1.2 degrees Celsius or 2.6 degrees Fahrenheit above that normal. Live in Texas or Louisiana, a weather pattern we call the Ring of Fire is going to crank up the heat this week. A large area of high pressure is expected to expand into the southern plains over the next 7 days. This is a map of the surface temperature anomalies. Some areas in Texas could see temperatures 5 to 15 degrees above normal, which is already in the 90s this time of year. By the end of the week, we'll start to see more and more records neared or broken. Meteorologists call this upper level pattern and associated surface pattern the Ring of Fire because we have a big upper level area of high pressure keeping things high and dry, and surrounding that we'll see storm activity. I'll explain why we start to see heat building under areas of high pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere. This is a map showing a typical upper air pattern that we see when we get a heat ridge building. The big H is the area of high pressure, and these L's are areas of low pressure. It's Saturday, September 9th, and Hurricane Lee is still holding on as a major hurricane in the Atlantic. The latest Hurricane Hunters recon mission this morning found that Hurricane Lee still has 115 mile-per-hour sustained winds, making it a Category 3 major hurricane. Lee has weakened substantially from where it was on Friday as a powerful Category 5 hurricane. At its peak, Lee had 165 mile-per-hour sustained winds and was gusting over 200 miles per hour. The reason Lee is weakening is because it's encountering a lot of wind shear when winds are going different directions in different levels of the atmosphere. You can see this on visible satellite because Lee is becoming a little bit top-heavy with most of that thunderstorm activity in the northeastern side of the system. That's because that wind shear is coming from the west, so it's displacing it to the northeast. It's very common to see that westerly wind shear during an El Niño year, which we're in right now. That's because there's warm waters out in the eastern Pacific that lead to more westerly vertical wind shear across the tropical Atlantic. Even though we're seeing that wind shear that's hindering Lee, it is going to head over some very warm waters north of the Caribbean as it continues to the west. Because of that, the National Hurricane Center is forecasting by Monday, Lee will once again become a Category 4 major hurricane. Now, there is some uncertainty in the long term on where Lee will go because you can see it can turn either quickly to the northeast or take a westerly path for longer.
What is something you found out late in life that you should have known earlier but you just didn't?
I thought 100% that when they said that there's a 30% chance of rain, that it meant that there was a 30% chance that it was going to rain. I never, ever knew that it meant that there's 100% it's going to rain and it's going to be in 30% of your area. So in a way, there's a 30% chance that you're going to get rain, but it's going to rain. It's only going to cover 30% of the area. So like if it says 100%, it means your entire area that you're asking about, your zip code, whatever, like it's going to blanket the whole thing. Am I the only one who didn't know this till they were grown? Like, I found that out this year.
I put the packet on the glass.
What glass?
The little glass dish in the microwave.
Got it.
I closed the door.
Which door?
The door to the microwave. What is wrong with you?
Our GFS ensemble models have this becoming a tropical storm. Some even have it becoming stronger, which would get it pulled up into the Bermuda High. The Euro ensemble models are more convinced that it will head westward as a tropical depression or a tropical storm towards the Lesser Antilles by the end of the week. I'm meteorologist Hannah Gard with Fox 8 New Orleans. Here is a look at Category 4 Hurricane Hilary that's headed towards Baja California on Saturday morning. Right now, hurricane warnings are in effect for parts of Baja California. We also have tropical storm warnings for the areas in blue all the way up to Los Angeles. Parts of the southern tip of Baja California are already experiencing tropical storm force winds.